ladies and gentlemen, and welcome on in to a special interview edition of the PWTorch Fireside Chat. I'm PWTorch Assistant Editor Zack Heydorn, and with me today from Impact Wrestling, Gisele Shaw. Gisele, thank you so much for being here.
No, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it, and I'm so excited for this chat.
Oh, absolutely. I am too. And I guess I just want to start out. You've had kind of this meteoric rise through wrestling. You know, you're 3 years into your career, correct? And you're already making so many waves, and you signed with Impact Wrestling. So talk a little bit about that journey and the pace that it's been on since you started in the business.
So yeah, it's been really crazy, wrestling wise. I think my first year, I already had my tryout and stuff and whatnot, and I was like, wait, what? Like, what's happening? I was like 3 months into the business, and then I'm getting tryouts, and I'm like, whoa, like okay, sure, why not? Just go with the flow type of deal. And then my first year as well, I went to Japan, my first tour, and I just feel like I'm like, okay, like this is an opportunity. This is your journey. Just keep going at it. Went back to Japan a few more times, and then I feel like I traveled all over Canada, and I like Lance Storm, my trainer, he's always said, like never ever just stay in one place. I feel like the key is to move around and to get out there and all that stuff. So I feel like that's really great advice that he's given me. So I traveled over Canada, went to Ontario, and I tested myself there. I feel like I climbed the ladder there super quick. Had my opportunity with Impact Wrestling in 2018, and I think I had about 3 or 4 matches there. And
wow.
Yes. So, and then at that time, I obviously wanted to get signed by Impact, but unfortunately there was no, like a full-time spot for me, and there was no opportunities for me there. But, and that's fine, So I wanted to create opportunities, went to the UK, hopefully that they liked me, and I made an impression that they asked me to stay. And just, I really just forgot about the whole signing thing, and I just kind of wanted to make a name for myself. And I never really thought that I would get signed, because I feel like I would get opportunities, but then they would get pulled, and then get more opportunities and get pulled.
Right.
And I feel like it was really just bad for my mental health, right? To just think about like, oh my God, like how come I'm not getting signed? Like what's the issue? What's this? What's that? But I just focused on the now, the present, and I just really enjoyed learning, the British style of wrestling, and climbing, the ranks there, and to be trusted to carry the division by multiple companies and stuff, and lo and behold, Impact Wrestling called, and
you got signed anyway.
Here we are.
Yeah. What so what did it feel like to kind of like have the ball, as you say, for the the women's division, for those companies that you worked with? Like, I'm assuming there's a big sense of responsibility there, but what about on the performance side of things, in terms of like just your work in the ring as that person?
Right. I feel like there was a lot of responsibility and a lot of pressure, for sure. I went in with that thinking that the company is trusting me with this, the division, and making you the face of the company, and the division. So now, there's this expectation almost, right? But I have expectations for myself. I don't ever want to go up there and have people judge, me for my matches and say, that was a really good match for a women's match. I always want to go out there, kill it, hit it out of the park, and have people say, that was a good match, and rival men's matches. That's my goal. I don't want people to just be, to categorize you, and just because you're a woman doesn't mean that you have to do women's matches.
Right. And that's interesting. And so how did the British style, like from a kind of in-ring kind of art perspective, how does that differ from the training that you got from Lance in Canada, or was there any difference at all?
Yes, definitely. I feel like Lance gave me a great foundation to expand my knowledge. I feel like that's really important. It's like I feel like if you're building a house, right,
Yeah.
you must have great foundation for it to withstand. I feel like if I didn't get that proper training, then I would just have bad habits, and then you know, maybe not even go to the UK because I never got that, that speech from Lance of never settling down. So I think that's important. And then going to the UK, obviously it's a different style of wrestling. And I went there and I just really wanted to learn that. And they offered me so many great opportunities and, great experience. And I'm happy that I went there.
Did you find it hard to transition from like the style you were accustomed to working in Canada as opposed to in the UK?
Not really. I've always wanted to learn. I'm always, I always want to adapt, right? I feel like if you like in this world, not just in wrestling, if you are not able to adapt, you're going to be phased out, and that's just how it works, right? So I'm always wanting to learn, to keep up, and to adapt.
Yeah. So talk about Lance Storm as a trainer. I mean, he's got so much history, and he's done it all, and worked with so many wonderful talents. Like, how's your relationship with him? And can you give any insight as to what a day training with Lance Storm was like?
No, he's so amazing. I did watch Lance Storm growing up. So when I first went into the school, I always will remember this, him taking, attendance, like who's here, who's not here. And I'm just so starstruck, like, what? Like, whoa, that's so cool. Like, this is Lance Storm we're talking about, and and I'll always have respect for him, especially the first day. I was the only, female talent in that class. And he sat down everyone first day and he said, hey, if you ever disrespect her, you will have a problem with me and we will have a chat. And I feel like having, set that precedent and that expectation really made me feel confident and, just comfortable.
That he had your back, kind of.
Exactly. And it's, and I feel like that's so important because, as a woman going to training and it's a male dominated industry, it is very intimidating, but it's nice to have him, just be like, hey, no.
Yeah. Was he, when you were training with him, I mean, how much of it was, okay, you obviously have to learn the bumps and, run the ropes and things like that. And how much of it was psychology, character development, that part of it? Like, was it kind of like a 50-50 split, or was it more, we got to get you reps in the ring?
No, I think it was definitely, evenly paced, but I feel like he focused a lot on the technique and the psychology of it, which I think is important because not a lot of people, a lot of people are great wrestlers, athletic, but sometimes they don't have the psychology and you go, wait, what? Like, what's happening? So I feel like that's really important. He touches a lot of, about the subject and the technique too, right? Like you could be athletic. If your technique is not that great, it's just like, oh yeah, cool. So it's like the minute details that he focuses on. And I feel like that's what's so special about Storm Wrestling Academy.
So I'm interested. I don't mean to pry, but so can you give an example of like what is like one of those minute details that he that maybe like, somebody watching a wrestling match wouldn't necessarily know, but it is so small that it matters so much. Like give an example of what that might look like.
I think the most, the one thing that really stood out to me the most is because I did this in my match and he questioned me and he said, oh, why would you do a head scissor like that? And I go, oh, well, because at the time I was like, well, I wanted to do a head scissor,
Yeah, right.
He's like, yeah, but do you know if it's a defensive move or a defensive move? And I go, No, I didn't really think about that.
Right.
And he's like, well, it's a defensive move, like, so it's not offensive. Like, you're not just gonna run at someone and then do a head scissor, because if someone did that, then, like, why would they pick you up? Why would they, like, I'll just drop you, I'll just clothesline or do whatever.
Right.
But if it was a defensive move, if someone picked you up, let's say, into a sidewalk slam, then you can counter it. And I go, oh my God, yeah, like that, that really makes sense. And I feel like learning that psychology and the technique right from the get-go really helped me to be, a better wrestler and focus on those details that make, that makes a difference in matches.
Yeah, fascinating. So talk about like you're working in front of a crowd. Like, obviously you're looking for the reaction, you're trying to manipulate a reaction out of them. What do you look for when you're working that tells you, hey, okay, what I'm doing is working for them right now, or hey, it's not working right now, I gotta pivot? Is there anything that you look for from them outside of just a lot of noise that kind of helps direct you during a match?
Yeah, I feel like, listening to the crowd, right, and getting that reaction. I feel like sometimes people just, like, we are performers, right? So if you're going out there and you're trying to do something, you have to listen to the crowd. You have to study your matches. You have to study other matches and see what's working, what's not working. That's what, separates a good performer versus a great performer. Mm-hmm. So I feel like I said, with the minute details and stuff, it's that's the most important thing.
You've worked with some just really great talents, Mercedes Martinez, Tessa Blanchard, I believe. Like, who's kind of on your list of like, man, this was an awesome match that I had, or I learned the most from this person in the ring? Like, kind of what's the hierarchy there? Because you've worked with just so many talents, right?
Yeah.
In such a short period of time.
You know what? Tessa and I have always had great matches. I feel like we had that great chemistry. Learning wise, I like lately, especially, I feel like Rosemary has taught me, not only just be a wrestler, but also a character. And, she taught me again, like this in wrestling, I feel like it's the minute details and stuff. And she'll tell me like certain things, like, oh, hey, like, what, like, you could have reacted like this, or like your facials or this or something or whatever. And I think that's, like, super cool. And with the influence as well, when I was doing, that little story with them, I mean, who better to learn character-wise than Madison Rain and, Tennille.
Right.
Yeah.
Have they been, valuable resources in terms of just growing as a performer?
Yes, most definitely. I feel like, there's like, I feel like wrestling is a performance, right? So I have always relied on my wrestling because I know that I had good foundations and stuff. But people, when they bring up my name, would say, well, she's kind of bland because she doesn't have character, or she's just a bit boring, And being on TV now, I feel I need to step up my game. And I had to learn that, on TV, you can't just rely on your wrestling. Like, you actually have to perform. You have to, do the characters, do the, like there's other things as well when it involves TV. So I feel like, I'm surrounded by great talent to learn from.
That's great. So for Impact Wrestling, you guys, the company's busy. You guys have like just a lot of great stuff going on. You're coming out of Emergence over the weekend. What's on tap for you and for Impact moving forward here in the recent future?
I'm super excited that Impact Wrestling is, in my opinion, and I really truly believe this, I feel like everybody wants to come to Impact Wrestling. We're the company that everyone's talking about. I go to the UK all the time, and talent. They're, asking me like, what is it like working for Impact Wrestling? How's the locker room? And I feel like we've cultivated such a great locker room where everyone supports everyone. Everyone wants everyone to succeed. We watch everyone's matches and, get feedbacks and all that stuff. And it's, it's so incredible to be a part of that. And, like it just gets better from here.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you, is there anybody in the women's division that you're just really gunning to work with that you haven't worked with so far?
I would love to work with Mia Yim. I feel like in a singles match or maybe do a tag team match with her, like Empire, against Chelsea Green and Deanna, newly crowned Knockouts World Tag Team Champions. And, Deanna and Chelsea are great competitors as individuals, but I feel like together they are a force to be reckoned with. They are friends, which even, makes that chemistry even better. And, I have Mia Yim, who is my bestie, one of my besties in Impact. And I feel like having that connection as well, I think that we would, give them a run for their money.
Awesome. Well, so you talked real quick, last question, Impact Wrestling, kind of like, hey, everybody wants to be here. There's just so much wrestling out there with WWE, AEW, a handful of independents, Ring of Honor is back. Like, what is it about Impact that is like kind of like the flame that the moths want to go to? You know what I mean? Like, because with all this wrestling out there, you really have to. I would imagine the company is trying to find its niche and its place.
Right.
What is it about Impact that you think makes it attractive for talent to want to work?
I really do feel and believe that the Impact Wrestling is providing the best content right there, whether it be story or whether it be talent. I feel like the Knockouts division, no one looks the same. Everybody looks different and everybody has something different to offer. So it's not a competition almost. It's almost like, whoa, like what can we learn from that person? And everyone just helps everyone, brings out, the best out of everyone there. And I think that's the I think that's why people want to go there. It's because, we are a family. We do friendly competition instead of, be catty and, and do something so that people don't advance in their careers and stuff. Like everyone's really supportive. And I feel like that's why people want to come there.
Great. Well, thank you so much for your time, Gisele. It's a pleasure. I've enjoyed your work and kind of following you through progress and now to Impact. So congrats on all your success. Guys, check out Impact Wrestling. They'll be in Dallas for the Lone Star Stampede, August 26th and 27th. So a two-night event, television taping. Gisele, you'll be there. But thank you. Everybody would. That's right. Everybody will be there. Thank you so much for the time, and I really hope we can do this again soon.
Yes, awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate talking to you, and I had so much fun. And yes, let's do it again soon.